I'm Melissa Mancini with Canadian HR Reporter TV. I recently sat down with Stephen Van Alstine, Vice President of Education at the Canadian Payroll Association. We talked about the importance of having a good relationship between human resources and payroll.
I think it's important for HR to communicate with employees. It's not, HR is just not there from the start of an employee relationship or from the end of an employee relationship. They're also there throughout the relationship to communicate about changes that might impact employees, and certainly pension is one of those big changes. We in payroll tend to be the administrators, but sometimes we're the communicators, but certainly HR is a communicator. We find also when employees are being laid off or terminated, and when there's talk of economic slowdown, that certainly could be the case where there will be layoffs, terminations. Employment insurance becomes really important, and being that bridge of communication to the employee about what they do, where they go, what role the organization plays in producing records of employment, and then what steps the employee has to take. Because of course it's all over the news that it's taking weeks, sometimes months, for people to get their EI benefits, but it's important for the employer to be clear about rules that they have to communicate to the employee, so it helps the employee when they might have to go and make a claim for EI.
What are the most important issues that HR and payroll need to consult on?
There's a definitive role between what payroll does, certainly, and what HR does. And sometimes those roles are blended if that role is something that a person does both payroll and HR. For example, at our organization, the payroll and HR coordinator are one person. But if in organizations that are larger where that's not the case, it's talking about how those deductions are taken, when you're obliged to take those deductions, versus communicating that information to the employees, which might be more of an HR role. As well, we in payroll are responsible for producing the ROE, but it's communicating the information to the employees about what they need to do once they get the ROE, or knowing that the ROE is done. When there's terminations, what kinds of payments have to happen, and the taxes that might be taken from that. So there is a lot of interconnectivity there, and it's important to just keep that communication channel open. Because HR is often the ones they're often the ones that are unfortunately doing the terminating. And then payroll plays that role in making the payments to the person upon termination. So there's a lot of work that goes on between those two areas of the organization at the time of the termination.